Thank you very much, Janine. I didn't realise we were going to have such a smashing time. However, these sound effects were terrific. I must admit that as I was driving here this morning, I was contemplating these poor people beside me here who are anything but poor, I can tell you. They're very, very talented. And I'm thinking, well, this is the first time they're really going to have to perform. When I first joined the ABC back in 1968, I think it was, day one, I arrived in the office in Brisbane, and my supervisor came out and said, well, while you're bloody here, mate, go and do a gardening program, television gardening program. I had no idea about television. I had no idea about gardening at the time. But I went out to the nursery, and Alex Hayes, who was the nurseryman there, said, don't worry about it. So we went around each of the plants and put little notes inside them. And so we wander over the plant, and I said, Alex, this is a particularly pleasant acre that we're looking at. And, so I got away with it, thanks to the very supportive crew as well. Anyway, enough said of that. Today we are going to be experiencing a real look at the future. And these talented young people here will be giving you some very special information, I do believe. And it's my privilege on this occasion to introduce each and every one of them. Their first names, Laura, Erycka, and Isabelle. Now, I'd like first each one is going to give us a 5-minute dissertation speech about their particular chosen topic. And then at the end, after each and every one of them has spoken, then we're going to have a plenary session, if you like, where you can ask questions. And I hope that you will ask some really good questions, keep them short and to the point if you can. So let me first introduce Laura Han. And I'll have to get my glasses out now because I have to read what I wrote, which is always difficult. Laura's passion is storytelling, and she has a background in fine arts and design. She has experience working in a photography studio and using media content production for promotional purposes. Clearly, she belongs to a generation that embraces multimedia and artificial intelligence as a creative tool, a tool that can be used to create compelling and creative and artistic content that is effective in informing and connecting communities in meaningful ways. So, while Laura's topic is artificial intelligence, there's nothing artificial about Laura. Please welcome Laura Han.
Hello everyone, great to see everyone here today. To just introduce myself, my name is Laura Han, and I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Arts course majoring in Media, Culture and Communications. And today, I'd like to talk about something that has become very evident within the younger audiences, which is the growing influence of AI within social media and what that could mean for the future of media and society. I think some people will probably relate with me on this, but the advancement of technology can feel really scary and overwhelming sometimes. And for those who may not be as familiar with the term, AI stands for Artificial Intelligence, as you can see on the board. And in simple terms, it refers to technology designed to mimic aspects of human thinking, such as generating responses and creating content that can appear very, very human. And although AI was first introduced back in the 1950s, I think many people only truly started noticing its impact recently, like late 2022, when tools like ChatGPT boomed and suddenly became publicly accessible and began to spread across social media and everyday life. Since then, AI has become almost impossible to avoid online. For many younger people, social media is no longer just entertainment. It's where we receive news, communicate with others, and also shape our understanding of the world. And now AI is becoming heavily integrated into those platforms. Whether it's AI-generated videos, advertisements, or even fake AI influencers, we are constantly interacting with AI without always realizing it. And it's somewhat unsettling how normal this has become for my generation. Some may find AI beneficial because it makes life a bit more easier, and some may see it as something that will negatively affect people in terms of critical thinking, creativity, jobs, and human connection. I personally agree to both, and I think the real challenge is finding balance and learning how to remain human while living alongside increasingly intelligent technology. Because realistically speaking, AI will continue to evolve and society will continue adapting to it, similar to how electricity and smartphones were first introduced into the world. And to be fair, AI is already incredibly useful in many ways. For example, it helps journalists process large amounts of information more time efficiently. And it can also help public broadcasting become a bit more accessible for multicultural communities and people with disabilities. And so as someone studying media, I completely understand why industries are embracing it, but at the same time, I also think there's a danger in becoming overly dependent on convenience. Because the easier content becomes to generate, the harder it may become to recognize what is real. We are already seeing AI-generated images, fake voices, and manipulated videos becoming increasingly believable. So it's kind of hard to trust what's on social media these days. So before I continue, I want to quickly show two images on the screen and see if anyone can guess which one is AI or real. Can we go back 2 times? Yeah.
Entitification, that's another word.
Yes. So, yeah, I'll give you guys a few seconds to see which one is AI. There is one AI generated photo here.
Oh, God.
So if you guys think the first one is AI generated, please put your hand up. Okay. What about the second one? Oh, okay. It's pretty even, I would say. I think that kind of shows how hard it is these days to kind of differentiate AI and real. The answer is the second one is AI generated, and the first one is real. Yeah, and so. Yeah, honestly, the fact that many of us may struggle to tell the difference is exactly why conversations around trust and the future of media are becoming so important. And to add on to that, AI is even beginning to imitate emotional interaction. People are already using AI for comfort, advice, which can also raise deeper questions, such as what happens when people become more comfortable speaking to technology than to each other. And that is why I think organizations like the ABC still matter so much to this day and age. Because even in a world shaped with endless streams of content, people still search for credibility and human judgment. So I think the real question is not simply whether AI is good or bad, but what kind of society do we want to build with it? Because even as technology becomes more advanced, I still believe human beings and real conversations will always remain important. And through spending time at ABC Friends during this internship, I've honestly come to appreciate that even more. It's been really meaningful to see so many people genuinely care about trustworthy journalism and public discussion in a media environment that's so fast-paced. So I guess what I'm trying to say is AI itself isn't necessarily scary. I think it's whether we slowly stop thinking critically and valuing real human interaction in the process. And that's something I think society will continue needing to think about moving forward. And so that's all I have prepared for my talk, and I hope it was somewhat interesting.
Let me assure you, she is real. Now, our next guest is Erycka Dogma. And Erycka, currently the Macquarie University Association of Computing Students Event Coordinator. And her passion is anime, or in some cases we call it manga. Is that reasonable? Yep. And has worked part-time for a small business specializing in anime and manga and popular culture art. She's also used her time as an intern with Northern Suburbs to enhance her communication skills. Please welcome Erycka Dogma.
Okay, I think that should be good. Hi, I'm Erycka Dogma, and I am currently in my last year at Macquarie University. I'm doing a Bachelor in Media Communications, and I am majoring in journalism. Sorry, can you get my slide? I think it's the next one.
Next slide down.
Yeah. Yeah. So today I'm going to be talking about enshittification. I know that is a very funny word. I laughed as well when I saw it the first time. I'd like to discuss the concept of enshittification and the role the ABC holds in both present and future contexts. Are any of you familiar with the term enshittification? Got some here. That's good. So, the Canadian-British journalist Rory Sutton coined the term enshittification as essentially being the gradual degradation of platforms due to primary focuses on money and analytics. Plenty of news distributors have taken to social media or websites. The ABC is not exempt from this. Now, this wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing or a cause for concern initially, but have you ever opened a news article from, let's say, The Guardian, and immediately be hit with a message saying, "You can view this if you subscribe to us"? Can I get the next slide, please? Yes, just like that. So, this is a paywall, and it is a direct example of enshittification on social media. We used to not have these. You used to be able to read the news for free. News sites are putting paywalls on content that should be free to read in the first place, restricting people of their resources through forced monetary schemes. Currently, the ABC doesn't do this yet. Yay! Though, it should still be something to consider, as enshittification doesn't necessarily restrict itself to paywalls. Like I said earlier, enshittification is the general decaying of online media, with money only being a primary cause. Could I get the next slide, please? Earlier this year, the ABC faced quite a bit of a scandal. The ABC's Facebook account was hacked on the 27th of January for approximately 20 minutes, where the perpetrators had changed the profile images and banners to that of porn stars and the Prime Minister eating a sausage roll. The prank was taken down, but it leaves the question, how did the ABC let this happen? Can I get the next slide, please? During the 2023 to 24 financial year, the ABC invested over $21 million into marketing and research. From this investment, 50% was spent on social media and digital marketing and promotions. The ABC has stated that this was done in order to ensure that the youth are still engaged with the news and current affairs, despite no longer reading physical print today. But if $10 million are dedicated to promotions, shouldn't we be giving more consideration towards the security of these platforms alongside mere analytics and engagement algorithms? The delivery of high-quality journalism towards the public should always be the ABC's first priority. If business, extraction of profits, if numbers are prioritized in the context of these platforms, the ABC is therefore complicit in stepping towards the same waters of enshittification its competitors are currently submerged in. On the 25th of November, the ABC's 7:30 program utilized a short-form video format to create satirical depictions of Senator Hume and the coalition. Can I get the next slide, please? While subjectively funny, this drew concerns due to its contradiction of the ABC's generally neutral stance on politics. However, other than this, I would also like to comment on how, despite the ABC's proclaimed dedication to deliver news to the youth, is watering down information the best way to go about it? Let's circle back to the ABC's defense of social media distribution. Kim Williams of the ABC chair stated in 2024, "We should populate our content into whatever platform our consumers are using. Our content belongs to the people." But are we reducing political context to entertainment that could not only rot the youth's brains, but their perception of politics and potentially impact the majority vote in the future over memes? Next slide, please. Okay, evidently it is much more than the memes, but engagement. The ABC has moved to digital platforms to increase engagement, which is not inherently a negative factor. We want the youth to still remain aware of the world's events. But is putting so much investment in the algorithm and current trends a worthy risk for the quality of the product delivered in the end? To beat the competitors' numbers, rather than focusing on their motive for the public, it's certainly something for everyone to think about in regards to the future of the ABC and its changes. Next slide, please. So, how can we combat this? In the end, investing money into hiring young workers who have demonstrated substantial knowledge during their education, as well as investing in research-led marketing, would benefit the current state of the ABC. And shittification can be challenged with humanity. Furthermore, I do also believe the ABC would benefit from utilizing their homegrown platform, ABC iView, and introduce more content to the platform to encourage users to engage with the ABC's variety of broadcasts in ways besides viewing it on television or listening to it on the radio. And that's about it. Thank you.
Not a bad job application. Our next speaker is Ben Hubenstein. And Ben is best described as a media all-rounder, in my view. He enjoys teamwork both in theatre and in sport, and he's worked in all aspects of theatre and musical productions, from Shakespeare to The Sound of Music, and includes wide experience behind the scenes as well. In sport, he's played football, commonly known as soccer, rugby union, and basketball. And in recent times, he's been a primary school coach for basketball and soccer, developing his leadership skills, among many other things. And so during this internship, he's grabbed the opportunity to learn about his community and understand their passions. Please welcome Ben Huenerbein.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here we go. My name is Ben Huenerbein, and I am in hopefully my final semester at university. I'm studying a double major in media, culture and communications, as well as the performing arts. We interns have been at these last two events. Then the day after each event, we would have meetings with Janine. And every time we had a meeting with Janine, we would tell her our key takeaway from every single event was that the sense of community that you all have created here. You have created this amazing community of people who care about the world that we live in, and that's something that we kids will never experience in our lifetimes. It's kind of sad when you think about it, isn't it? Nowadays, we kids are so invested in what's happening on our little 6-inch screens. Kind of ironic that I'm giving this speech from my phone. And we often forget to look up and see who we are with. I'm going to tell you a quick story. After I graduated high school, instead of going to the Gold Coast or Byron Bay like everyone else did my age, a few of my mates and I went up to a little place up north called Foster. We rented a share house that was a 2-minute walk from 1 Mile Beach. We did what anyone would do on a trip away with our mates. We went to the beach, we went off-roading, had more than a few drinks, of course, and we even set a barbecue on fire. Accidentally, of course. On the next slide, there is a screenshot of the Foster Fire Department, and they made about a little incident.
Yeah.
And you can also see the beach just behind there. That's how close we were. Yeah, it turned out there was a kink in the gas hose that we didn't know about. So we got lucky, very lucky. So that night, we decided to go out for dinner because, well, our barbecue was on fire. Couldn't cook anything. Our waitress asked us, "Are you guys from around here?" We responded with, "No, we're from Sydney." And then she quickly responded with, "Are you the guys who burned the barbecue down this morning?" We were famous, we thought, for a second. Anyways, the reason why I'm telling you this story is because on our last day, we decided to have some brunch at a local cafe before we journeyed back home. While we were waiting for our food to arrive, this older gentleman comes up to us. And we think he's going to ask us, "Oh, are you the ones who burnt down the barbecues the other day?" But that doesn't come up. What he actually said was, "You know what you guys should do? You guys should put your phones in the middle of the table, and whoever touches them first has to pay the bill." We laughed it off and said, "Yeah, maybe next time."
Yeah.
This past weekend, I was at a dinner with my girlfriend and saw her, she was on her phone for quite a while. And that thought of that gentleman up in Foster came up again. And I realised that that man might have had a point. Social media was created to connect people. In this digital world, and ever since the pandemic, we have never been more divided. Platforms use algorithms that know you better than you know yourselves. These algorithms will show you content that it knows that you will enjoy, creating echo chambers where everyone has the same opinion. Over time, this will reinforce opinions and make disagreements feel more personal and hostile. Actually, I misspoke. I said it will, but it already does it. Every day we see people push further apart because of politics, religion, and online arguments that never seem to end. Teenagers also follow these influencers who basically change their entire perspective on what they should be in life. They show off their amazing physiques, their flashy cars and expensive jewellery, which only worsens insecurities. According to world metrics, 82% of people say they compare their body to others on social media. I'm one of those people. I grew up watching superhero movies. And for as long as I can remember, I wanted to look like a superhero. I wanted to look like Batman or even Spider-Man, let's say, for example. I started going to the gym and I found myself following a bunch of fitness influencers online. Seeing their physiques and what they'd achieved only worsened my insecurities. I could go on all day about how social media is run by greedy people or how bad it is for your mental health, but that's all you guys hear from the news. And honestly, I'm pretty sick of it because that's not the way I see it. There's a reason why billions of people, or all over the world log into social media every single day. Because social media also has the power to bring people together in ways that we've never seen before. Going back to when I was in high school, our entire year group had a private Facebook page where we would post information about our upcoming exams, promote upcoming school events, and celebrate each other's accomplishments. I also spoke earlier about how I follow several fitness influencers and how it worsen my insecurities. It doesn't, I lied. Don't get me wrong, these fitness influencers do show off their physiques, but they also understand how hard it is for those people who want to get started. They give their followers advice on what exercises to try, what foods they should try and eat, and encourage their followers to not give up. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, those two examples sound like a community to me. And going back to high school again, before I graduated, my mum warned me that I won't be friends with my friends anymore after I graduate. 8 years later, I still talk to them every single day, all because of social media. Could you just go 2 slides ahead, sorry? Two slides. Yeah, just the same. Next one. That was us at the baby gender reveal party for our mate with the big hair down there. Who knows what gender is? Based on his hair colour. Or a girl. It's a girl, which is great. Fantastic. As I said before, social media was created to connect people, and it does. If used correctly, social media strengthens our connections to one another. It turns communities into more like families. It allows people from completely different parts of the world to connect, support one another, and strengthen friendships that should have ended years ago. So, is social media the issue? Social media is not the issue. We are. We consume so much content to the point where we would rather stay home than go out and socialise. How can we solve this? It's not up to me, is it? I can't tell you what to do and what you can do. What I can do is make suggestions. When you're at dinner with your friends, put your phones in the middle of the table. The first person who touches it pays the bill. One suggestion. When you're with your family, put your phone on Do Not Disturb or turn it off. But yeah, some people are going, oh, what if it's urgent, someone needs me? If it's urgent, they'll call you. They won't text you. It's like the old saying, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. The same thing applies here. Social media shouldn't be used as a primary method of connecting with others. It should be an extension that strengthens the connections you have with your friends, colleagues, and your family. In a world that often feels disconnected, social media has the ability to remind us that we are not alone as we sometimes think. Thank you.
I think you can all put your iPhones away now. Thank you. Our next guest, and our last guest, but not the least, is Isabelle Siasat. And Isabelle is in her final year studying a Bachelor of Laws and a Bachelor of Media and Communications with a major in PR and media. Clearly she's a person with an extraordinary energy, given both her study commitments and working as a law clerk. Also, she has previous experience in working in marketing. Her combination of skills, therefore, constitutes an invaluable basis for a career in the media industry. Specifically, she's created a public relations campaign to a not-for-profit organisation aimed at increasing youth financial literacy, particularly after the budget. And now, following her internship, she aims to use that experience to create something similar, I'm sure, for ABC Friends and more. Please welcome Isabelle.
Hi everyone, my name is Isabelle. I'm one of the interns. It's my pleasure to be able to speak with you all today, and I'm grateful to have attended the past few meetings, which have been super insightful. What I want to discuss today is the future of public broadcasting. So the ABC has been around for 90 years. However, the way it is accessed is rapidly changing. For example, the rise of on-demand content and streaming services has seen traditional viewership of the ABC to decline. I personally have a subscription to Netflix, Stan, HBO, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Disney Plus, and Binge. Another change I found interesting was that for years the ABC prided itself on being the most trustworthy news source. However, 2018 Morgan research found that ABC News was ranked as Australia's 4th most trusted brand. An anecdotal manifestation of this change is evident in my own experiences. So in primary school, each afternoon we would watch an episode of ABC's Behind the News program. Our teacher would then ask us questions about the episode, which would keep us engaged with current topics. This strongly contrasts with my high school years, where I recall watching an ABC program just once. This was an exposed investigative documentary that was viewed during an elective subject through the discretion of my teacher and not a compulsory part of our learning. I think my personal experience highlights the unfortunate decline of public broadcasting with respect to it being a tool for education within schools. In Dr. Margaret Simon's lecture at the 2025 National Film and Sound Archive, she argued that ensuring what we see and hear reflects our own culture, democracy, and sense of self, all of which are at risk with the rapid shift to streaming services for both radio and video content. This poses a significant challenge that the ABC is facing, which is the lack of government funding, budget cuts, and political pressure. Data from the Australian Institute stated that a cumulative $1 billion in funding had been cut since 2014. Although the ABC has made some efforts to cater to the shift to streaming services by introducing platforms like ABC iView, it is extremely difficult for the ABC to compete with foreign streaming services and corporations that have greater access to finance. A major goal of the independent production sector is to return a profit, with many streaming services being publicly traded companies. Whilst the ABC is unique and has a role beyond producing entertainment such as emergency broadcasting or rural coverage, less funding means fewer local stories and services, both of which are important to cultural identity and democracy. Although this sounds very grim, there is still a future for public broadcasting and the ABC. The ABC has a long history of breaking major news stories, such as the Four Corners investigation into the aged care crisis that exposed widespread neglect and poor standards of care. This led to the Prime Minister announcing a royal commission, which resulted in law reform through the Aged Care Act. This demonstrates the important role that journalism and public broadcasting has. And then building on from this, the ABC remains a pivotal part of Australian cultural identity. And last week, we had the opportunity to kind of do a practice run of our speeches for Rory, and a note he gave me was that my speech was a little bit too negative towards the ABC, and that gave me an opportunity to reflect on the ABC and how it is reflected in my life. So an important kind of memory I had was each summer, me and my friends, along with thousands of other young people, participate in the Triple J's Hottest 100 countdown. In the lead up, we vote for our favourite songs of the year and attend a house party or visit a pub whilst the countdown is played on live radio. While sharing a drink or having a dip in the pool, we sing and dance for hours, all at the helm of the ABC. This is an example of how the ABC's efforts encourage community and promotes the arts. Additionally, despite the media landscape being competitive, the ABC was the #1 reaching screen network in 2025, which emphasises that the ABC has been able to adapt. In referencing Dr. Margaret Simon again, she argued that if we want to safeguard our screen culture, our cultural health, our democratic health, then we need innovative, fast-changing, responsive public broadcasters, and we need courage. Therefore, to secure its future, the ABC must prioritise audience engagement, which includes balancing innovation with the needs of existing audiences. Lastly, I want to raise the importance of advocacy and our role as an audience in applying pressure to our government that a fully funded and independent ABC is something that all Australians not only want, but need. Thank you for listening.
Well, as you can see, the ABC and the future of the ABC is in pretty good hands, really. Now, we're going to have the opportunity for you to interrogate these young people. And hands are up, and I ask that you